Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you about some subject that I was always interested in, and I never knew true meaning of the word being authentic self. Uh, does being authentic mean reacting instinctively when a coworker does something I don't like, or is if someone on the street is rude, does responding to the heat in the heat of the moment make me authentic, or should I handle those situations differently? I didn't know the answer, but I wanted to find out. So I do what I always do when I wanted to find out something. I Googled it. Or actually, I opened YouTube and typed how to know who am I authentically. That's when I stumbled across a video titled How to Stop Living as the Fake You and Start Living as the Real You. The title resonated deeply with me, and it felt as though this stranger, someone I had never seen or heard before, was speaking directly to the thoughts I've carried for years. The idea she shared was eye opening, and I'd like to reflect uh, on those ideas here because she actually articulated something I've always struggled to put into words. So she talks about general sense, how it feels to live inauthentically. Then she dwells into the concept of shame bound identity, and that kind of hit home for me. So much of what I do carry as a lingering sense of shame, even starting this podcast. I started a blog a couple of years before. I think I always wanted to do what I always wanted to do came with a feeling of vulnerability, of exposing myself in a way that felt raw and uncomfortable, like I am right now. Yet not doing it feel like denying a part of myself, like I wasn't really living. Maya Angelou has this quote that I still treasure on my Instagram description. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. My stories may not be life changing for anyone else, but they matter to me, and resonating with this video made me realize just how much my shame bound identity has shaped my life. For anybody who wants to learn more about shame, I suggest you Google Brené Brown. For me, shame bound identity feels like an inability to see myself clearly, living not as who I truly am, but as the version of myself I was told to be. It's a lie I've carried just beneath the surface of my so called coolness, where I pretend not to care. But deep down, I often feel that pang of shame. The shame I feel comes from self awareness, a heightened, sometimes egoistic sense of myself. It's a loop of feeling exposed, judged, and uncertain. I think back to the moments after high school when emotional crisis forced me to confront these feelings. I was ashamed of not knowing what I wanted to do with my life, and I honestly still don't. That uncertainty is always there. Is life about simply living, or it's about leaving some kind of mark on the world? I still don't know. But I do know this. I'm tired of living in a way that feels disconnected from who I really am. And what at one point I was working as a sales assistant in a beauty shop, and that job involved standing for 8 hours in the store, approaching customers, offering my help, and guiding them to what they need. But I don't feel like, but I didn't feel like doing that. I felt ashamed of that job. It wasn't kind of work that I was born to do. And I had this feeling that I always watched the door silently praying that no one I know walks in and sees me standing there in my pink uniform with a badge that says beginner, which was like the badge said, "Look at me, I failed in life. I'm doing this because I don't know what else to do. Everything I try feels boring and I don't have a direction." I felt empty, lost, even after all these years and this effort and all this introspection. I still didn't know who I am and or what I want to be. And that reality fills me with shame. Now I'm 44 years old and I'm still on this journey. I don't know what I need or what I truly want from life. That's why this podcast is so important to me. It's my outlet, a way to express everything I've bottled up. It's also my attempt to leave something behind in this world, however small. The woman in the video is absolutely right about living with a shame-bound identity. She talks about how our behavior often stems from procedural memory, the part of us that remembers how to ride a bike or swim without thinking about it. But it goes deeper than that. I understood it like this. When I was a kid, I was made to feel unsure of my own feelings. I didn't know if what I was feeling was valid or right. Decisions were made for me, and I was never taught how to make choices and stick to them. And now, in my 40s, I'm paying for that. I still don't know how to make decisions confidently. I find myself constantly seeking reassurance from others, needing someone to tell me who I am or what I should do. Even when people say kind things, when they tell me you're amazing at this or stop putting yourself down, it feels fleeting. I hear their words, but they just don't stick. Sometimes I can recognize something great in myself through others' eyes. Other times I think, who cares? It's a cycle I'm still trying to break, and honestly, it's exhausting. My behavior, shaped by procedural memory, feels like the constant uncertainty. When something happens outside of me, whether it's a situation, a decision, or a change, I'm never sure how to process it. I ask myself, should this be happening? Why am I here? Is this good or bad? Should I feel ashamed of it? How will this affect my future? Is this the right move? The truth is, I don't know. I quit my last job because these thoughts overwhelmed me. And then the other job that I had with slightly better salary, but honestly, not much had changed. The only thing that was different was more cost, more hustle, and more confusion. Emotionally, I felt stuck. My procedural memory kept me trapped in feeling of shame. It reminded me constantly that I'm capable of more, but I have no idea how to reach that more. It's this cycle of knowing I could do better but feeling lost about how to get there. In this video, she talks about accepting your real self, and I agree with her. She points out that there always is this voice is inside of us, a voice that recognizes when we are unhappy, that knows we are capable of more. For me, that voice feels like my authentic self, but it's buried deep, shadow way. Sometimes it feels like a part of me is locked behind a door I don't know how to open. It feels like one part of me, the wrong part, is holding the other part of me, my authentic self, a prisoner. When I think about these things or what I could be doing, like starting a vlog or this podcast or anything in that lane, There's this authentic part of me that generates ideas and plans and trying to figure out how to feel more like myself. But then there's this other part, the part that's constantly observing, judging, and feeling shame. Like when I think about a job I did back then, it was like being trapped in a never ending internal dialogue. What should I be doing? What should I be doing? Is this enough? My authentic self knows what I want. It's the voice that said you should have a blog. You need to reach out to the world. That's who you always wanted to be. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to do something meaningful, to be someone who inspires and helps others feel better. When I was younger, that dream looked like becoming an actress or a singer, someone who could express herself on a grand stage. I've always been drawn to the idea of sharing my voice with the world, of making an impact beyond the private pages of a diary or the confines of a book. So when I watched this video, everything she said resonated deeply. She spoke about how we need to have honest conversations with ourselves, asking, why do I feel ashamed? What is my authentic self trying to tell me? And it doesn't mean I have to quit my job. Every job pays bills and provides financial security, even the one that we don't love. But I'm learning more than I did at my last job, and it's giving me the space to figure things out. What she said made me realize that pursuing my authentic self doesn't have to be tied to making money. I can start this podcast or a vlog simply because it matters to me. It's okay to be on a healing journey while working on a job that isn't perfect. Feeling ashamed about any job isn't necessary. It's practical, it's common sense. I'm working, I'm earning, and I'm still searching for myself, and that's okay. That was something that I wrote a couple of years before all this, and this podcast is something that it's not bringing me shame, but it's a possibility that it will come up. So I decided to not give a F and just do what I think I will enjoy doing, like this podcast. So join me in this journey where I tell little stories that make me what I am today, stories about what I had to go through to return to authentic me, lessons I needed to unlearn, and the ones that I had to learn. And I'm really grateful for all the people who subscribed, who liked my videos, and who want me to succeed in this. That's love. So, talk to you soon.